Welcome to the Sports Show. Mike Max, Trent Tucker, Lou Nanne, Sid Hartman, a distinguished panel that sits in front of you tonight.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I want to start with Trent and Louie. No, normally we go to you first, but this topic I want to bring up and see where it goes, okay? Then you bring it back on the other end.
Okay.
You know, the Howard Pulley tournament's here. Louie, you've watched as hockey has blossomed into a year-round sport for a lot of places. And so you talk to coaches and you talk to football coaches that say, jeepers, you know, we're getting too specialized, and we've had this argument for a long time. Trent, are they playing too much basketball?
I don't think you could never play too much basketball. You know, as a kid growing up,
are they getting too many kids to play just that sport and not enough sports?
No, I mean, I think once you realize that you're good at something and you really want to put time and effort and energy into it, and if you have a place to play, I think it's good for all kids. I know for myself, growing up in Flint, Michigan, you know, I played basketball morning, noon, and night.
Louie, what do you think? What about hockey? Does hockey? I don't even actually know. Like are high school hockey players? Are they playing all spring and summer in organized leagues, or is it kind of on their own? What is it?
You got a number of different things. First of all, if you're in high schools, right now they have the Elite League. They start in August and they play.
Yeah, that's the fall league.
20 games. That's terrific. But in the summer, there's all kinds of programs, and the USA has their development programs, and kids try out, and they bring it down to actually 16 people. They'll start with hundreds of kids in all different parts of the state, and they'll have tryouts for all the ages, 15, 16, 17, 18, and they'll whittle it down. Usually they go to Rochester in July. This year they're going to Buffalo, New York in July. So there's all different leagues and ways for them to play, plus they play in their own. But I got to tell you, I think a little differently than Trent. When I was growing up, you couldn't play all the time because you didn't have any ice and you didn't have these kind of...
Kind of tough for the summer,
So we played other sports.
They hadn't invented ice.
And we didn't have the opportunity kids got today. And I understand that kids want to play because they're afraid to get behind, but I really still believe it's a big asset for kids to play other sports.
What do you tell your grandkids?
I tell them to play other sports, and Louie played baseball, and Vinny played soccer, and Tyler played football. So they've all, and he plays on the golf team as well. So they all play something different besides playing hockey. And I used to say that if you stop and think about it, if you're a hockey player and you play basketball in the summer, it helps your hand-eye coordination. Yeah. If you're playing baseball, the same thing. If you're playing football, it helps you with contact. If you're playing golf, it helps you with timing. So I really think it's a benefit to play other things.
Sid, your thoughts?
Well, one reason the state has lousy football is that they don't have spring practice.
Yeah, but you know, now they've got 7-on-7 and they've got camps all summer. So if you want to play, you can play.
Oh, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll never forget when Lou Holtz was here, we had a deal all set where when Minnesota played, in those days Minnesota played Wisconsin or Iowa last, that all-star game that they have, that would be held one year when Minnesota plays at home. The all-star game would be held at home on Friday night before the regular game. When we played at Iowa or Wisconsin, we played there. The hockey coaches wanted no part of it, and they killed it because a lot of those football players play hockey.
Well, now you're into the season. That's almost a little different thing, though, Louie, isn't it? Because now you're talking about your actual winter season.
Yeah, but I got to tell you, the hockey coaches don't have that kind of power in the state. You know, there's still more football coaches, more basketball coaches. Sure. The hockey coaches really don't have a lot of power at the state high school league. They didn't kill it.
They killed this one.
Yeah.
The Metrodome is available, and something's got to be done. Basketball is real good in this state. Hockey is real good in this state. Compete with any state, I think. But football is maybe some of this stuff, not like down south where they have regular spring football, 21 days, just like they have spring practice in college.
Yeah. Trent, you are now the athletic director of the Minneapolis City Conference, and there's never been a lack of talent in the hallways, as they say, for football. A lot of good athletes there. It's getting them to go out for that sport has been the challenge over the last several years. Anything can be done there?
I think when you have, good coaches and they stay around for a period of time, They begin to build their programs. And when you have good, solid programs, it's much easier to attract kids into your programs that way.
You know, by the way, you landed a pretty good one there at Minneapolis North. Larry McKenzie coming back to the north side to coach Minneapolis North, a program that, because of declining enrollment, has just not been able to compete really in any sport, been competitive over the last few years. That's a good hire for them.
That's a very good hire for them because he has had success before. You know, he's a state champion basketball coach. And like I said, he brings credibility back to the table. And when you can bring guys like that and keep them in the program, it's much easier for kids to come out and play for someone like that.
Good point. When we come back, we'll talk about Gopher sports with 3 Gopher experts, 2 All-Americans, and a honorary degree right here.
I'm honored.
Stay with us.
What's the guy's name, Coleman?
Yeah, stop on by. Lou Nanny was just out there for dinner last night. Trent Tucker last week. Sid takes it to go. I stop by and see that anytime I can. That's by J.D. White's. That's J.D. White's wish, not. Welcome back to this board show. You were there with Norwood Teague the other night. Tell me what his #1 objective. Okay, 1 year he's been into this thing now. What has he done, and what is #1 on his plate going forward now that all the coaches are in place?
Well, I guess you'd have to say, what has he done? He's changed basketball coaches to start with.
Yeah.
So.
And time will tell on that. We don't know.
His most important thing that he wants to get done, he wants to upgrade the facilities to get him equal to the other Big Ten schools. And they got a long way to go. They really...
Are we talking about just football now?
No, I'm
in the
talking
basketball
about
practice facility?
They've had people come through and do surveys, and they need work on basically everything. And they finding out they do have the new baseball stadium, but they need stuff for basketball, football, hockey, track.
What would hockey need at this juncture?
Hockey's, that building's what, 1985, 87? So you've got to upgrade it downstairs. You've got to improve the training facilities downstairs. You've got to improve the locker room. You get wear and tear in a building in 25, 30 years. Mm-hmm. In the NFL and NHL and NBA, they build new buildings in 25 years. So they're going to have to put $4 or $5 million in a hockey rink.
Where are they going to get the money for all this?
Well,
guys like you.
We're looking at you, first of all.
We're still after you, #1.
They haven't been able to raise $20 million for a basketball building, and they've been working on it from day one Tubby stepped in, which was 6 years ago. And Marty Davis claims that now with the new tax laws in the state, where they're taxing guys like you and they make millions.
No, you're the guy that made me. I still work. Remember that?
They will no longer have that money to donate to this deal. They have had good luck raising money for some reason at this point.
Why is that? Why is it tough to raise money at the University of Minnesota for athletics? Trent, you start.
I don't think it should be, because when I look at the University of Minnesota and where it sits, I think it's a top-flight school. But I guess you have to get out and communicate your plan, and you have to find the right people who can buy into your plan to see if you can move things forward.
Lou, is there too much?
No, here's the deal.
Are they structurally set up poorly at the university where you're calling on the same people and there's not I don't know, it always seems like they never have a real focus?
The situation is different. The University of Minnesota has been able to raise a lot of money, one of the top universities as a school in the country. They've had billion-dollar fundraising campaigns that they've been successful with. They consistently raise over $200 million a year for things. The problem is, and it's going to get worked out, the problem is you have the foundation raising money for the overall university and for academic buildings, etc., and you have the athletic department. And there was a problem on how do you call, when do you call, who are you allowed to call? And now it's got to be, if they really want to do it right, they have to allow each of them, whether it's the business school wants to raise money for the Carlson School and we need to improve some buildings or add some buildings, we'll go out to our graduates, and overall the foundation's doing it. If they want to go into the foundation direction, fine. But the athletic department has got to have the ability to go out on their own and raise money on their own to wherever they want to go with no restrictions.
Yeah, this is what he's talking about. Holtz was here. I used to go with Holtz all the time.
Yeah.
We went to one place after another where he got money.
You would go with, you weren't helping.
I was working with Holtz.
Oh, well, okay. You want to say it?
I introduced him to some people. He did the fundraising. I didn't do the fundraising.
You just open the door, yeah.
So all of a sudden, Holtz shows me one day, we're going someplace, and he gets this letter from the foundation. You can't go here, you can't go there, you can't go here. they were fearing that he was going to crack places that they had never cracked.
Which he would have, by the way, given his skill set.
And that has a little bit to do, not much, with him leaving there. Because he wanted to do all the things. There's no doubt in my mind he could have built a new stadium.
You and Holtz together could have raised enough to put a retractable roof over the whole university, together, in tandem.
We had good success.
Yeah.
In fact,
Do you remember that, Louis? When
Oh, yeah.
These two went out on the... You and Harvey couldn't even match that tandem, man.
what you're
I
going
want to get Harvey and Sid together to build the building.
No, I just want to get them together again.
One of the coaches showed me a book that Holtz wrote. And in the book, he said, I would meet with Harvey McKay and Sid Hartman every day about how we could raise money and we plan our strategy. I mean, he was amazing. I never forget Norma Grew was head of the Chamber of Commerce. On Thursday, I walk into Holtz and I says, how about a welcome gopher? Oh, great. This is Thursday. On Monday, we have 1,400 people at the Leamington Hotel. He had the magic. To date, we have never found the magic that he provided.
That's true.
What do you think, Trent? Is it all about a coach then, and what he can do?
Well, a coach can do a whole lot. I mean, especially if he brings the right reputation. If he's a winning coach, for sure. I mean, it attracts people. It can bring more kids to his program. But like these guys are talking about, there's so many other layers, that you have to go through, to raise money in certain situations to make things happen.
When we come back, we'll ask Trent about the newest Gopher basketball coach and much more. Stay with us. Stop on by, see Bruce Bonine. I was just out there the other day talking to Wayne yesterday about their vehicles, about what they offer, and my gosh, the place was filled. Middle of the afternoon and people everywhere, and that's because they got great vehicles. People want to test drive them, and when you do, you will fall in love with an Audi Minneapolis off of General Mills Boulevard and 394. Richard Pitino, you played for his father. How has he struck you? What does he have to do? Because he's bringing in these transfers from Florida International. It's hard to get a feel for what we got here.
Well, all these guys on this panel understand that when you have good players, it's easier for a coach now to take this next step. He's got to bring in the right players that are going to fit his system. And for the guys who are going to come in and play for him, I can say one thing for them. They're going to have to be in great shape. Because if you want to press and trap for the entire game, you want to play up and down the floor and shoot three-point shots, during the offseason, the guys who are going to be on this team, they need to get themselves in the best shape possible.
Here's the thing. Even Wisconsin has recruited better basketball players. We've got the kids from the state, like this year, all Minneapolis team. But this coaching staff has all the last 3-4 coaching, even Tubby. They could not get a superstar that really turned the program around like Duke gets or something like that. Clem got a few guys, but Clem had different methods of doing things. So, like Willie Burton, he was a very highly sought guy by Michigan State, but he wound up here. A great story the other day Bracken wrote about. You got your degree, right?
Yes.
Were you on a night? What team were you on?
82, when they won it.
Big Ten championship team, 82.
The 82 team that won it.
One team now has all the graduates who never graduated. I think the 90 team, guys all came back and graduated. How was you? You got a degree?
In 4 years. Right away.
Sydney, how about you? That diploma's still sitting out there.
I don't even have a high school diploma.
You gotta go past your freshman year to get one.
But that is the difference. Back in those days when we went to school, most of our hockey team all got degrees in 4 years.
I'll bet they did, yeah.
4 years.
Yep.
And we had guys in engineering like the Stordals and Lily Owens and stuff like that.
But in this new APR, they take scholarships away as they have from the football program if you're not graduating on time.
Right.
And also the NCAA is going to raise the standard next year, I believe.
Is that good for Richard
to 2.3, I think so. I think they're going to raise the academic standard to 2.3.
But I mean, is that good for Richard Pitino in terms of his style? Will he have the kind of kids that'll work in his favor?
Let's hope so.
We'll leave it at that for now.
If there is an NCAA, there won't be an NCAA. Talking to Jerry Kill the other day, there's going to be BCS schools will have their own organization. They're sick of it. It's just a matter of time, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. they're gone.
What do you think of that, Louis?
I
Because
think
you
that's
keep
a
hearing
great-
about
I
that.
hope Sid's right.
Would
Because
you like to see that? Would you think it would just make it easier?
I would like to see it because I think the NCAA has just done incredible hurt things to athletic programs, and they look after themselves more than they look after the athletes or the schools. And I had to deal with them when I was at the NHL, and I went there. We had $500,000 in escrow we'd put in because you couldn't pay schools when you're drafting the players. Back those years, we used to pay for every round of the draft, so we escrowed all the money. So we wanted to use it, and I said, well, you know, we'll try and do a program. So the league asked me to be the liaison. I went and meet with them, and we were going to start a referee development program because we didn't have many American officials in
So
the
you'd be
National
working
Hockey
with the
League.
NCAA on it?
Exactly.
You mean?
We went there. I went to meet with them, and I told them we had this $500,000 pot, and they were very happy about that. I said we were willing to, you know, use it for their needs, and we wanted referees. They agreed with that. And then we were going to do 4 camps throughout the United States. They said, that's fine. And I said, but we were going to use NHL officials teaching. They said, no, we'll control it. I said, but you don't even have any officials that are good enough in the NHL.
Yeah.
They said, well, we're going to run the program. I said, well, then you're not getting the money.
Then there is no
So
program.
I never got the program.
That is a cinch to happen. You watch and see. I mean, they get these millions from that basketball. Shouldn't the parents of a guy who plays in the Final Four get enough money so his parents can take an airplane and go see his kid play?
Well, that
with
part
all
is
the
sad.
millions
That part is sad. You know, Trent, you were at Michael Jordan's wedding. You are buddies with him. Now they're starting to talk about LeBron or Michael. Who's better? Give me your take.
Michael.
Because
Because he's his friend.
we already answered that with the wedding part of it.
You're next.
Now, to me, you know, I think, you know, Michael has demonstrated to me he's the best player to ever play, because when you talk about other great players in other sports and other activities, they're always the Michael Jordan of something else.
You know, I had his personal trainer in studio the other day on radio. You know who I speak of. And it's very interesting to hear him. You know, he worked with Michael for all those years. I don't know if you worked with him at all or not.
Is it Tim Grover?
Yeah, Tim
Okay.
Grover. And
Well,
to
he
hear
hasn't.
what it is he sees in someone like that they are uncompromising in wanting to be the best and at an elite level. It's almost an obsession that you can't explain, isn't it?
Well, that's why he became the best. I mean, he was willing to put in the time. You know, he had the drive, he had the energy. And when you have that type of talent, you know, with the ability to make sure that you do everything right on every single day, it gives you a chance to be the
Louis,
best.
I talked to Michael some time ago, bumped into him someplace. He gives Bob Knight a lot of credit for his.
Oh, come on.
turnaround.
Bobby Knight developed Michael Jordan?
He played on the Olympic team. Yeah, talk to Isaiah Thomas, who he'll give it credit. Talk to any of those
Oh,
guys.
I know, but he only had him for. I think,
weeks.
Louis, this is my opinion. I think Michael would have done well. He just seemed to have the right make.
I'm sure he had done well, but he said it helped him to play that 1 year
Sure.
under him.
That LeBron Jordan thing.
Anytime you're with a great coach, you can pick up something that
Yep.
you might use, and I'm sure
That's
he
all
picked
I'm
something
saying.
up right.
Yeah.
Right.
The James Jordan thing reminds me, though, the Walters Hartman argument that we've had for years around here. Louis, you can settle that when we come back. Stay with us. Yeah, thanks to local sponsors, and stop on by Bar Abilene this Memorial Weekend and say hi to Wayne and the gang. They've got some great opportunities at the buffet table and beyond at Bar Abilene. Welcome back to the Sports Show. You got the right time?
Yeah.
Just checking, okay. So Ron Gardenhire has had this tough 3 years. Louis, you've been the general manager. See, I watched the Twins, and I don't think Ron Gardenhire has hardly anything to do with their decline. It seems to me he manages pretty well, and he manages a clubhouse very well. As a general manager, how do you assess as this team, has gone south over the last few years?
Well, you got to look at the ability of the team, and are you providing him with the players that's going
They're
to
not.
win? And if they're not, Gardenhire didn't get stupid overnight. He's been one of the top, if not top, managers in the league for a long time, and he's really well thought of. The only thing they're going to assess now, they're going to say, has his message gone on deaf ears, or people tuning them out? And that's something that they're going to determine, but Gardenhire is a very good baseball manager. I personally like him
the reason
a
I
lot.
don't think you can use that message thing that some people do, they got a whole bunch of rookies here.
Yeah.
They'll listen to anybody. They don't even know what's going on, what day it is. They're just happy to be in the big leagues.
Right.
And I don't think there's, it's not this collection of clubhouse leaders that, are going to turn on him. So, Sidney?
They have no talent.
That's what I'm saying.
They
You
got-
got to look at the scouts. Who are they
There's so
signing?
many guys hitting under 200. Hicks, What other club would Hicks be on?
None.
What? Second baseman. What the team?
Dozier.
Poof. Third baseman. Shortstop. They have no talent. And the pitching is very ordinary. This guy they gave away spam for, he just sent him on to Rochester. Oh, Ricey went over the thing last week. He went over position.
There's nothing
by
there.
position.
There's nothing there.
And if you don't have pitching, you don't have anything.
Yeah, forget it. First
And it takes time to get it. I mean, you can't just want pitching and expect to get it. It takes time to develop, and you also go in the free agent market. It's not easy to, when you start looking at it, if you're building a basketball team, you only got 5 guys on the court. Building a hockey team, you got a little more. So,
let me end with that. Yeah. Trent, can Flip Saunders build this quickly and add the pieces?
I think he has something good to start with. If his players can stay healthy, he can move this team in the right direction very quickly.
He and Kevin Love a key relationship?
For sure. I mean, you want to have that good relation with your best player, because when the best player buys in, then it's much easier to get everybody else on track.
Thanks, guys. Happy Memorial Weekend. Barbecue at Sid's house tomorrow.
Can I just take the cash? I'll just take the